Dominic Vance's head throbbed as consciousness returned, each heartbeat sending shards of pain through his skull. The acrid smell of burnt circuitry filled his nostrils. When he forced his eyes open, the emergency lights of his diplomatic shuttle pulsed crimson against the darkness. "System status," he croaked, his throat raw from smoke inhalation. No response. The AI was dead along with most of the ship's systems. The last thing Dominic remembered was entering orbit around Tenebris, the mysterious moon that orbited the gas giant Callisto 9. Then warnings, alarms, and finally darkness. Unbuckling himself from the pilot's seat, Dominic winced as pain lanced through his left leg. A quick examination revealed a deep gash along his thigh. He applied a pressure bandage from the emergency kit, knowing it was temporary at best. The shuttle's viewscreen was cracked but still offered a glimpse of the alien landscape. Tenebris was aptly named, a world of perpetual twilight. Two distant suns cast an ethereal purple glow across fields of what appeared to be tall, silver-leafed vegetation swaying in the breeze. Beautiful but lethal. The atmosphere was supposedly breathable, but Earth had limited intelligence on this region. The Vakari, the dominant species in this system, kept to themselves. His diplomatic mission was meant to be the first formal contact. "Some first impression," he muttered, limping toward the emergency hatch. A noise outside the shuttle silenced him. Something or someone was circling the wreckage. Dominic grabbed the only weapon he had, a simple utility laser meant for cutting through debris. Then the hatch exploded inward with a deafening bang. Two tall figures moved with liquid grace into the shuttle. In the dim emergency lighting, Dominic made out their silhouettes, humanoid but unmistakably alien. They stood at least 7 feet tall with lithe, athletic builds. Their skin shimmered with a faint opalescence, and their eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle on each face, glowed an intense amber. Vakari warriors, female, if he remembered the briefings correctly. The elaborate crests atop their heads marked them as members of some elite caste. "Human," the first one said, her voice melodic yet resonant. "You are injured." Her companion moved closer, seemingly analyzing him. "The crash compromised your vessel's protective shielding. The nocturnal predators will have detected your blood scent by now." Dominic tried to stand straighter despite his injury. "I'm Dominic Vance, diplomatic engineer from Earth Central. I come in peace." The first Vakari made a sound like crystalline chimes, laughter perhaps. "Peace will not matter to the shadow stalkers when they arrive. I am the Laura of the Crimson Blade caste. This is Myria of the same birth cluster." Myria tilted her head, the motion strangely graceful. "Your physiological readings indicate significant blood loss and potential internal injuries." "I'll survive," Dominic said, though even he didn't believe it. "Perhaps," the Lara responded, her middle eye narrowing slightly, "but not here." Without warning, Myria moved forward and scooped Dominic into her arms as effortlessly as one might lift a child. The sudden movement sent pain shooting through his leg, and he bit back a cry. "Forgive the indignity," she said, her breath cool against his face. "But we must reach the outpost before darkness falls completely." As they carried him from the wreckage, Dominic caught his first full view of the alien women in the purple twilight. Their skin was indeed opalescent, shifting between pale blue and violet with each movement. Though powerfully built, they possessed an undeniable grace and beauty, though not by conventional human standards. The elaborate facial markings and the way their 3 eyes worked in perfect synchronization held him transfixed. "Your heart rate increases when you observe us," the Lara noted as they moved swiftly through the silver fields. "Is this fear or curiosity?" "Both," Dominic admitted honestly. "You're the first Vakari I've ever met in person." Myria adjusted her grip on him, surprisingly gentle despite her strength. "And you are our first human. The stories speak of your kind's emotional complexity. I find it intriguing." "We should not speak openly here," the Lara warned, her head crest flaring slightly. "There are many dangers on Tenebris beyond the physical." As they raced through the alien landscape, Dominic fighting to remain conscious, he couldn't help but notice something unexpected. The 2 Vakari moved in perfect harmony, like dancers who had practiced together for years. More curious still was the way they both held him not as a burden but almost protectively. The last thing he remembered before unconsciousness claimed him was Myria's voice, softer now. "Rest, human. Your journey with us is just beginning." Dominic awoke on a bed of what felt like living moss, its surface gently conforming to his body. The pain in his leg had subsided to a dull throb. Above him, the ceiling of what appeared to be a crystal dome refracted the twilight into dancing patterns. "He wakes," came the Lara's melodic voice from somewhere to his right. Dominic turned his head to find her seated cross-legged on the floor, her amber eyes studying him with undisguised fascination. The opalescent quality of her skin was even more pronounced in the diffused light of the outpost. "How long was I unconscious?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "2 cycles of the primary moon," Myria answered, entering the chamber. She carried a vessel filled with luminescent liquid. "Your physiology responds differently to our healing methods than we anticipated." Dominic attempted to sit up, wincing slightly. Both Vakari moved with startling speed to assist him, their 6 hands supporting his back and shoulders with gentle strength. The contact sent an unexpected shiver through him. Their skin was cooler than human temperature but radiated a subtle energy that tingled against his own. "You should drink," Myria said, offering the vessel. "It will help restore your electrolyte balance." The liquid tasted like honeyed mint with an undertone of something metallic. As it spread warmth through his body, Dominic became more aware of his surroundings and of the 2 Vakari women watching him intently. "Your outpost is beautiful," he said, gesturing to the crystalline structure around them. "I've never seen architecture like this." The Lara's head crest fluttered slightly, a sign of pleasure, he guessed. "It is a modest dwelling by Vakari standards. We are frontier guardians, not nobles." "You live here, together?" Dominic asked, noticing how the 2 warriors moved in tandem, anticipating each other's movements with uncanny precision. Myria and the Lara exchanged a glance that seemed to carry volumes of unspoken communication. "We share a soul resonance," Myria explained, settling beside him on the edge of the living moss bed. "It is rare among our kind." "Soul resonance. A connection beyond the physical," the Lara said, her voice taking on a reverent quality. "Our life energies vibrate at complementary frequencies. It is considered a gift from the cosmos." Dominic nodded, trying to understand. "Like soulmates in human culture." "Similar, perhaps, though more literal," Myria said. Her 3 eyes blinked in sequence, right, middle, left, which he was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of thoughtfulness. "We can sense each other's emotions, share strength when needed." "But it is incomplete," the Lara added softly. "The ancient texts speak of triadic resonances, 3 souls in perfect harmony. Such bonds are legendary among our people." An unexpected tension filled the air. Dominic sensed he had stumbled upon something deeply personal, perhaps even sacred to them. "I should thank you both," he said, changing the subject. "You saved my life." "It was Myria who sensed your arrival," the Lara said, her head crest flaring slightly. "She felt your presence enter our atmosphere even before your ship began to fail." Myria's skin shimmered with a deeper blue hue, embarrassment perhaps. "I have always been sensitive to energy patterns. Yours was distinctive." Over the following days, as Dominic regained strength, the 3 fell into a rhythm of cultural exchange. He taught them human history, art, and philosophy, while they shared Vakari customs and beliefs. The warriors were particularly fascinated by human concepts of romance and partnership. "Your species forms bonds with such freedom," Myria remarked one evening as they shared a meal, "without regard for caste or cosmic alignment." "Sometimes to our detriment," Dominic admitted, "but we value choice in matters of the heart." "Heart," the Lara repeated the word, placing her slender hand over the center of her chest. "You attribute emotions to this organ. Curious, we feel deeply here." She touched the base of her throat where a subtle pulsing light occasionally shimmered beneath her skin. During his physical therapy sessions, both warriors would assist him, their strong hands supporting him as he relearned to walk. Each touch lingered a moment longer than necessary. Each glance carried unspoken questions. One night, as the gas giant Callisto 9 filled the crystal dome with its azure light, Dominic found the Lara alone, meditating in the central chamber. "Your presence has changed us," she said without opening her eyes. "Myria and I, we feel differently now." "How so?" Dominic asked, settling beside her. Her eyes opened, all 3 fixing on him with startling intensity. "When you are near our resonance, it amplifies. It has never done this before." Before Dominic could respond, Myria appeared in the doorway, her expression a mixture of confusion and wonder. "You feel it too," she said to the Lara, who nodded solemnly. "Feel what?" Dominic asked, suddenly aware of a subtle vibration in the air between the 3 of them. "The possibility," Myria whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The 3rd frequency we have sought for so long." The Lara rose with fluid grace and approached Dominic, her hand extended. "Would you permit us to show you?" As he took her hand, Myria stepped forward and completed the circuit, her fingers intertwining with both of theirs. The contact sent a shock wave of sensation through Dominic, not just physical but something deeper, as if windows had suddenly opened between 3 separate rooms. For just a moment he could feel their emotions, their curiosity, their hope, and something else, something warmer that made his breath catch in his throat. "What was that?" he asked when they finally broke contact. "The beginning," the Lara answered simply, "if you wish it to be." The silver plains of Tenebris glowed under the ethereal light of the twin moons. Dominic stood at the edge of a crystalline balcony extending from the outpost, his body now fully healed. Behind him, the Lara and Myria moved through the fluid forms of Vakari combat training, their bodies weaving around each other in perfect synchronization. 2 weeks had passed since the moment of connection, that strange, intoxicating rush when their three hands had joined. Since then, an unspoken tension had filled the outpost. Glances held longer, touches lingered, and the air between them seemed charged with possibility. "Your form has improved," Myria called to him. "Would you join us?" Dominic turned, watching as the two warriors paused their exercise. Sweat glistened on their opalescent skin, catching the moonlight in hypnotic patterns. The sight stirred something primal within him. "I'm not sure I'd be much of a challenge," he replied with a smile. The Lara's head crest fluttered, her version of laughter. Physical combat is not merely about victory, it is about understanding the dance between bodies. The word bodies hung in the air between them, laden with meaning. When Dominic stepped into their practice circle, the two warriors shifted their positions, creating a triangular formation. What began as a simple training exercise slowly transformed into something more intimate. Each blocked strike became a caress, each movement brought them closer together. Myria circled behind him, her cool breath against his neck. "Your species generates such heat," she murmured, her hands sliding down his arms to correct his stance. "We find it compelling." "Is that unusual?" Dominic asked, his voice unexpectedly hoarse. "Vakari are temperate by nature," the Lara explained, stepping closer until mere inches separated them. "We rarely experience the intensity of physical sensation that seems natural to humans." "And emotional sensation?" he asked boldly. The two warriors exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Myria's skin flushed a deeper blue, almost violet in the moonlight. "Our emotional range is precise but narrow," she admitted. "We experience deeply but not widely. You humans contain multitudes, joy tinged with sadness, desire mixed with fear. It fascinates us." The training session dissolved as they moved to the edge of the balcony, looking out over the silver plains. Dominic stood between them, acutely aware of their height, their alien beauty, and the strange comfort he felt in their presence. "Among your people," the Lara began carefully, "is it forbidden to form bonds across species?" Dominic considered the question. Not forbidden exactly, unusual certainly, but humanity has a long history of adapting to the unexpected. "Among the Vakari," Myria said softly, "bonds outside our kind are not merely unusual, they are unheard of. And triadic bonds of any kind are sacred, rare beyond measure." "What would happen," Dominic asked, turning to face them both, "if your people knew of this thing growing between us?" The Lara's middle eye narrowed slightly. Some would see it as a desecration of tradition, others might view it with scientific curiosity, few would understand. "And you," Dominic pressed, feeling suddenly vulnerable, "do you understand what's happening?" Myria reached out, her slender fingers tracing the outline of his jaw with delicate precision. "We understand only that when you came crashing into our world, something within us recognized something within you. The third frequency we have sought all our lives. In our culture," the Lara added, moving closer, "there is a concept, Kintara, the courage to pursue truth despite tradition." The word hung between them, a permission and a challenge. Dominic felt a tightness in his chest, a peculiar mixture of desire and doubt. "I'm not Vakari," he said finally. "I can't offer what another of your kind might." "We do not seek another of our kind," Myria countered, her hand still warm against his cheek. "We seek you, Dominic Vance, your warmth, your complexity." "Your humanity," the Lara finished, her voice barely above a whisper. The distance between them collapsed. Dominic wasn't sure who moved first, perhaps they all did simultaneously, drawn by that strange resonance that hummed between them. His lips found the Lara's in a kiss that bridged worlds, while Myria's arms encircled them both from behind. The sensation was electric, alien yet deeply familiar. Their skin against his created currents of that strange energy he'd felt before, but stronger now, building like a wave. The Lara's mouth was cool and sweet, Myria's breath warm against his neck. When they finally separated, all three were breathing heavily. "This is forbidden," the Lara said, though her voice contained no regret. "Then why does it feel so right?" Dominic asked. Myria's eyes, all three of them, seemed to glow brighter in the darkness. "Because some bonds transcend the boundaries we create." Inside the outpost, they sat together in the crystal dome, the gas giant Callisto 9 casting its enormous shadow across the landscape. They spoke of consequences, of possibilities, of the rescue ship that would eventually come searching for Dominic. "I don't want to leave," he admitted, surprising himself with the truth of it. Dalara's head crest fluttered with emotion. The universe rarely considers what we want when plotting its course. "Then we must make our desires clear to the universe," Myria said with unexpected conviction. She reached for both their hands, completing the circuit once more. The energy surged between them, stronger than before, a tangible connection that made Dominic's vision blur at the edges. In that moment of joining, he could sense their feelings as clearly as his own. Dalara's cautious hope, Myria's fierce determination, and threading through both, a desire that mirrored his own. "Tomorrow," Dalara said when they separated, "is the alignment when both moons are full. Among our people, it is a time for bonds to be forged, tested, or broken." "A time of truth," Myria added, her eyes holding his. "If you wish to explore this path with us, the alignment offers an opportunity." Dominic looked between them, these beautiful alien women who had saved his life and now offered something he hadn't known he was seeking. Fear and desire warred within him, fear of the unknown, desire for the connection they promised. "Yes," he said finally, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. "Tomorrow." As they moved to their separate sleeping chambers, the air hung heavy with anticipation. Whatever barriers remained between them, physical, cultural, or cosmic, tomorrow they would fall. The alignment brought with it a phenomenon Dominic hadn't witnessed before on tenebrous actual darkness. As both moons rose full on opposite horizons, their combined gravitational pull caused the gas giant Callisto 9 to eclipse the distant suns, plunging the world into a rare night. Within the crystal dome of the outpost, Dalara and Myria had prepared a sacred space. Bioluminescent flora cast a soft blue glow across the chamber, and the air was fragrant with what Dominic recognized as ceremonial incense, spicy and sweet at once. "In darkness we see truth," Dalara said softly as she entered, her opalescent skin seeming to absorb the blue light and radiate it back. She wore a simple shift of what appeared to be woven starlight, falling in elegant folds around her tall frame. Myria followed, similarly dressed. "In darkness we find light," she completed the ritual phrase. Both warriors had removed their usual ornate headdresses, and Dominic was struck by the vulnerability this simple act conveyed. Their crests, those sensitive, expressive appendages, lay flat against their skulls, only fluttering occasionally with emotion. "I'm not familiar with your ceremonies," Dominic admitted, suddenly aware of his human awkwardness in this alien ritual space. Myria approached him, her movements fluid and graceful. "Tonight is not about ceremony," she said, taking his hands in hers. "It is about honesty." "About connection," Dalara added, completing their triangle. As the three stood together in the soft glow, Dominic felt that now familiar resonance building between them, a vibration that started where their hands joined and spread throughout his body. "Among our people," Dalara explained, her voice taking on a reverent quality, "the joining of souls happens in a space beyond the physical. Yet the physical union often acts as a gateway. A bridge between worlds," Myria continued. "Your human physiology is different from ours, but the energy, the essence, remains compatible." Dominic's heart raced. "You mean?" "We wish to join with you," Dalara confirmed, her three eyes holding his gaze with intensity. "In all ways." "If you desire it as well," Myria added softly. Dominic looked between them, these extraordinary beings who had rescued him, healed him, and now offered something profound. His answer came without hesitation. "I do." The first touch was tentative, exploratory. Dalara's fingers traced the contours of his face while Myria's hands found the planes of his shoulders, marveling at the differences in their anatomies. Their skin against his created that now familiar current, but magnified tenfold in the charged atmosphere of the alignment. "Your heat," Myria murmured, her voice tinged with wonder as she pressed herself against his back. "It calls to us." They moved as one to the center of the chamber, where a large circular platform of the same living moss that had healed him waited. As they sank down together, their clothing, both human and Vakari, was discarded with ceremonial reverence. In the soft blue glow, Dominic beheld their alien bodies fully for the first time. Where humans had curves, the Vakari had angles, elegant, impossibly graceful angles. Their opalescent skin covered lean, powerful muscles. Where human women had breasts, they had subtler contours that nonetheless responded to his touch with intensifying color and light. "May we?" Dalara asked before exploring his body with similar curiosity. Their touch was both foreign and familiar, cool fingers leaving trails of warmth, discovering the landscapes of his human form with scientific precision and growing passion. Dominic found himself responding in kind, mapping the unfamiliar geography of their bodies, learning what caused their skin to pulse with inner light, what made their breath catch, what elicited those crystalline sounds of pleasure. The physical differences between their species created not obstacles but opportunities for discovery. When Dominic's lips found the sensitive junction where neck met shoulder on the Lara's body, she gasped, her crest flaring with pleasure. When Myria discovered the sensitivity at the base of his spine, the sensation nearly undid him. The resonance builds, the Lara whispered as the three of them moved together, finding a rhythm as natural as breathing. And it did build, that energy between them growing stronger until it seemed to Dominic that the boundaries between their bodies became permeable, sensations flowing freely between them. He felt not just his own pleasure but echoes of theirs, alien yet intimate, foreign yet deeply familiar. When Myria guided him inside her, the sensation transcended the physical. The Lara joined their connection, her body intertwined with both of theirs, creating a circuit of energy that pulsed in time with the distant stars. Their three hearts beating as one, three minds merging in the darkness. The climax, when it came, was unlike anything Dominic had experienced. The wave that had been building crashed over them simultaneously, human and Vakari physiology responding in harmony to create a moment of perfect union. Their shared cry echoed through the crystal dome as light pulsed from within their joined bodies, briefly illuminating the chamber as brightly as day. In the afterglow they lay entwined, a beautiful tangle of human and alien limbs. Words seemed inadequate, unnecessary. The connection hummed between them, a tangible thing now binding them together. "I can feel you," Dominic whispered in wonder. "Not just physically, I can feel you, both of you." The Lara's hand found his face in the darkness. "The triadic bond has formed," she confirmed, awe in her voice. "It is rare even among Vakari but between species." "Unprecedented," Myria finished, her voice thick with emotion. "You are part of us now, Dominic, and we are part of you." As they drifted into shared consciousness, the boundaries between them continued to blur. Memories flowed between them, Dominic's childhood on Earth, the Lara's rigorous training in the Vakari academies, Myria's solitary meditations in the Silver Plains. Joy and pain, triumph and loss, all shared, all understood with perfect clarity. "Is this permanent?" Dominic asked eventually, propping himself up to look at his alien lovers. "The physical effects will fade with distance," the Lara explained, her fingers tracing patterns on his chest. "But the connection once forged remains. Even across the stars," he pressed, thinking of Earth and the inevitable return. Myria's expression grew solemn. "That has never been tested. No triadic bond has ever faced such distance." As the eclipse ended and the first rays of the distant suns began to filter through the crystal dome, the three remained connected physically, emotionally, spiritually. Whatever challenges awaited them, in this moment they were complete. "This changes everything," Dominic whispered. "Yes," the Lara agreed, her eyes, all three gazing into his with newfound intimacy. "Everything." The transmission alert shattered the tranquil morning like glass breaking. Dominic jolted awake, still nestled between the Lara and Myria in their shared sleeping chamber. 3 days had passed since the alignment, 3 days of discovery, connection, and deepening bonds. "Earth vessel detected entering orbit," announced the outpost's security system in its melodic Vakari cadence. Reality crashed down upon their newfound paradise. The rescue ship had arrived sooner than expected, much sooner. "No," Myria whispered, her skin paling to an almost translucent blue. Through their bond, Dominic felt her spike of fear as sharply as if it were his own. The Lara rose first, her warrior's discipline asserting itself. "We knew this moment would come," she said, though her crest betrayed her distress with rapid fluttering movements. "Not so soon," Dominic said, reaching for them both. Through the triadic bond, they shared a moment of silent communion, determination, fear, and love flowing between them like currents. Their morning was a blur of frantic preparation. While Dominic established communication with the Earth vessel, the Lara made an even more consequential call to the Vakari High Command. Their relationship could not remain hidden, not with an official Earth delegation about to make contact. "The Council wishes to see us," the Lara announced after ending her transmission. Her expression was unreadable, but through their bond, Dominic sensed her apprehension. "All of us?" he asked. "Yes," Myria confirmed, her fingers intertwining with his. "They wish to evaluate our claim of a triadic bond." The journey to the Vakari settlement was tense but beautiful. As their transport glided over the Silver Plains, Dominic absorbed every detail, knowing these might be his final hours on Tenebris. Through the bond, he shared his observations with his lovers, creating memories that would transcend distance if separation became inevitable. The Vakari Council Chamber was an enormous crystal dome similar to their outpost but on a grand scale. 7 elders, distinguished by elaborate metal augmentations that enhanced their natural crests, sat in a semicircle upon raised platforms. Their collective gaze, 21 eyes in total, fixed upon the unlikely trio with scientific curiosity and undisguised judgment. "Approach," commanded the central elder, her voice resonating through the chamber. As they stepped forward together, Dominic felt the Lara and Myria's presence in his mind strengthen, their collective resolve hardening. "You claim a triadic bond," the elder stated, her tone neutral but skeptical, "with a human." "We do not merely claim it, Elder Vantara," the Lara responded formally. "We have achieved it." A murmur rippled through the chamber. The elder to Vantara's right leaned forward. "Such a bond has never been documented across species." "Many things exist undocumented," Myria countered, her voice stronger than Dominic had ever heard it. "The universe reveals its secrets at its own pace." Elder Vantara made a gesture, and 2 Vakari in scientific attire approached carrying complex instruments. "You will submit to verification." What followed was an uncomfortable series of tests. Physical examinations, energy readings, and finally, a profound mental probe that made Dominic feel as though his soul were being turned inside out. Through it all, he clung to the presence of the Lara and Myria in his mind, their strength becoming his. When the scientists finally stepped back, their expressions were stunned. "The resonance pattern is authentic," one reported, sounding almost disappointed. "A true triadic bond." Elder Vantara's middle eye narrowed dramatically. "Even so, the human will return to Earth. Diplomatic relations require his presence there. Your arrangement threatens the natural order of our society." "With respect, Elder," the Lara began, but was interrupted by a commotion at the chamber entrance. Commander Jackson Hayes of the Earth vessel Intrepid strode into the chamber with a small delegation. His gaze found Dominic, relief evident on his face. "Engineer Vance," he called, "thank God we picked up your distress beacon. Are you all right?" Before Dominic could answer, Hayes noticed his proximity to the 2 Vakari warriors and the way their hands remained connected. His expression shifted from relief to confusion. "What's going on here, Vance?" The moment of truth had arrived, and Dominic felt strangely calm. Through the bond, he sensed the Lara and Myria's unwavering support. "Commander," he said steadily, "I'd like to introduce the Lara and Myria of the Crimson Blade caste. They saved my life after the crash, and in the process, we formed a bond." Hayes frowned. "A bond?" "A soul resonance," Dominic clarified. "A triadic bond rare even among their people. We're connected now emotionally, mentally." He paused, gathering courage. "I love them, Commander, both of them, and they love me." Silence descended on the chamber like a physical weight. Dominic could feel the scrutiny of every eye, human and Vakari alike. Elder Vantara broke the silence. "This human speaks of love, a concept our species approaches differently, yet the bond is undeniable." She turned to Hayes. "Your diplomatic mission sought cultural exchange. Perhaps this is where it begins." Hayes looked between Dominic and the 2 Vakari warriors, clearly struggling to process this unprecedented development. "Our orders are to bring you home, Vance." "I understand that," Dominic replied, "but home is no longer just Earth for me." Through their connection, an idea formed, not solely his, not solely theirs, but born of their collective consciousness. "What if," the Lara suggested, stepping forward, "we proposed an extended cultural exchange? The 3 of us could serve as ambassadors between our worlds." "Traveling between Earth and Tenebris," Myria added, "building understanding through our unique perspective." The proposal hung in the air, bold and unprecedented. Dominic held his breath as both Hayes and the Vakari Council considered it. "Such an arrangement would require significant adjustments to protocol," Elder Vantara said slowly. "Diplomacy often does," Hayes replied, surprising everyone with a thoughtful nod. "I'll need to consult with Earth Central, but it has potential." Hope bloomed between the 3 bonded souls, a shared emotion so powerful it made the air around them shimmer visibly, causing several of the scientists to gasp and take readings. As negotiations continued around them, Dominic, the Lara, and Myria retreated to a quiet corner of the chamber. "This isn't an ending," Dominic said, gathering them both close. "It's a beginning." "The stars themselves could not separate us now," the Lara whispered, her forehead touching his in a gesture of profound intimacy. Myria's hand found the place where their hearts beat. "3 souls, 1 resonance," she said softly, "across any distance." Outside the crystal dome, the twin moons of Tenebris began their dance across the twilight sky, while inside, a new kind of bond, transcending species, custom, and cosmic distance, prepared for its own dance among the stars. In the reflection of the Lara's amber eyes, Dominic saw not just his own image but their shared future, complicated, unprecedented, but filled with the kind of love that changes worlds. Through their bond, he felt Myria's fierce determination that they would forge this path together, whatever obstacles lay ahead. "Did you ever imagine," he asked them both, "that your rescue of a crashed human would lead to this?" The Lara's crest fluttered with that crystalline laughter he had come to cherish. The universe rarely reveals its grand design until we are already living it. "And would you change anything?" Myria asked, suddenly serious, "knowing the challenges we face?" Dominic pulled them both close, feeling the perfect synchronization of their three hearts beating as one. "Not a single moment," he answered truthfully. "Some journeys are worth any price." As the council members and Earth delegation finalized the details of their unprecedented arrangement, the three lovers stood united, a bridge between worlds, a new kind of family, and a testament to the universe's endless capacity for surprise. Their story was just beginning.